Yeah, I think that this game, Ole Miss ends up winning. The final score of this game is it was a 37-20, I believe. What it was
37-20. They put it on
but
them late.
it was really close for most of this game, and not A&M. Ole Miss was down for a period of time. I think that, as what you're saying, is yes, they are in trouble because Tulane kept that game close for most of it without Michael Pratt in the game. I think that
God, what would have happened if Michael Pratt would have played?
That's my point.
Jesus Christ.
That Tulane team is as good as that Cincinnati team that made the playoff. Like, I really think that they could have won that football game against Ole Miss.
I'm not willing to go there yet.
I don't know, dude. They looked really good without Michael Pratt. And Michael Pratt is good enough that he's going to be like a top 100.
Michael Pratt isn't the storyline to me, though. Michael Pratt being out is a far cry from what that game, what the talking point should be.
The talking point is that Ole Miss can't throw the damn football.
Well, let me defend Jackson Dart to some extent.
It's not his fault. I don't think it's his fault.
It's not his fault. Joe, they got dominated offensively up front.
Yes.
If Pete Golding is still at Alabama, they might have been upset by Tulane.
Yeah.
Seriously, they might have been upset. Quinshon Judkins, had 18 carries for 48 yards, 2.7 yards per game.
That's insane.
Or per carry. They got dominated by Tulane. And what did I tell you? I told you that if this game was close, that those little itsy-bitsy Tulane fans were going to come out and saying, we want to be in a Power 5. And what happened after the game? We deserve to be in the Power 5. We didn't have Michael Pratt. But the truth is, they physically dominated Ole Miss at the point of attack and that offensive line.
Right, and it's kind of funny. We spent the whole offseason talking about Ole Miss's offensive capability.
They're not the best team in the league.
We talked about the receivers that were added. We talked about Quinshon Judkins in the run game, and even some of their defensive pieces. Like Pete Golding, I give him a lot of credit for how he called that defense because they played really well defensively in this game. But one thing that we overlooked is the offensive line. That offensive line will not match up with LSU. That offensive line, I don't even know if they're going to match up well against Alabama. They could get really hurt by a team that's got a strong defensive line. And as much as we were high on, and I was high on Ole Miss this year, I am very, very worried about them being able to protect Jackson Dart because he's a guy who needs time. Like, he made some good throws. He made some nice plays with his legs. You have to – I don't know how you can fix this. It is going to be a long year if they don't protect him better.
Do you want Daddy to tell you how?
I'm not going to concede the first part of that, but sure, you can tell me how.
Okay, let me pull this back up. Hold on. Tulane. Well, first and foremost, Lane's going to have to start recruiting better up front. Okay, like they have been so piss poor at development up front. It is alarming. If he is one of the best play callers in the country, he's just going to have to schematically, he's going to have to throw these little quick screens. He's going to have to continue to throw these little quick slants, get the ball out of Jackson Dart's hands, and then later in the game, hopefully that defensive line is worn down and you can run the football. There is no business whatsoever that they should have gone into Human, come into New Orleans, and not being able to run the ball and establish the line of scrimmage. None. Zero. That is I know that they walk away with the 37-20 win. I get all that, whatever. That is embarrassing. That is outright embarrassing. It doesn't matter what team it would have been against. But here's the thing, and I'm going to tell you something. Last year, USC got beat by Tulane, and you said that this team was better. Now, if you're going to say that this team is better and everybody's shitting on the SEC, then you're going to have to give Ole Miss their flowers too. Now, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Now,
well, wait. Nothing I said was. Nothing I said. I'm not.
No business being in the top 10. Then put them in there. Put Ole Miss in there. Then, because if this team is better than the team that they had last year, and they beat Ole Miss, they beat USC. Well, then what does that make Ole Miss?
I think that's kind of part of what I'm getting at here is that I don't want to take too much. I'm digging at Ole Miss and they need to fix stuff, but the best G5 team in the country is Tulane. Like that's the main point that I'm getting at here.
Probably
they are better than last year. They did a decent job in the portal. They only lost 2 important players, Dorian Williams, linebacker, and Tyjae Spears. They kept the rest of that. Like they've got really good receivers. They got a really good offensive line, some defensive line pieces. I don't know, dude. I think that team is really good. And if they hadn't lost that game, if Michael Pratt plays that game, we might be sitting here talking about them going on some sort of a run and maybe making a little bit of noise the rest of the year.
Yeah, Kai Horton was horrible.
Yeah, people were trying to talk him up. I don't know about that.
Yeah, everybody's like, "Oh, he played so great." Dog, he went 15 of 37.
That is not a good game.